Yes, it's the NFL offseason in high gear. Hello, fantasy goats, Rhino, War Chief. The NFL. You know what the NFL stands for, Rhino? You know what it stands for.
Not funly sometimes.
No, not funly. No, I was thinking more along the lines of not for long. Not
True,
for long.
true.
Not for long. And free agency, the NFL draft. Those are the major drivers of why we have that term, that abbreviation for the NFL, not for long. It gives these teams a blank slate.
Yep.
Sometimes not a blank slate. It gives them a sense of like renewal. It gives them an opportunity to right the ship, to improve. It gives them opportunity. It also gives the fans hope. Well, tonight we're going to get into the NFC East, the NFC Beast, and we're going to grade them on how they've done so far. Because again, we still have a major component, the NFL draft, but so far so good. We're going to give them a grade based on how they are, riding their 2026 ship. All right, so since I'm talking, I might as well start.
You start.
Yeah, since I'm talking, I'm going to go with the Cowboys, and I'm going to give the Cowboys a solid B. Rhino, I think this team is close. War Chief, this team is getting close, and they did some things that put them into another category of why I think they're going to be close, or they're getting there. That signing that trade from Rashawn Gary from the Green Bay Packers over to the Cowboys, they now have Jerry's pass rush. You could scheme. You can't scheme against the pass. You can scheme against the run. You can't scheme against the run, but you can scheme against whatever he was saying last offseason when he went and moved Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark. Oh, by the way, Kenny Clark from the Green Bay Packers. So Rashawn Gary comes over in a trade to play alongside of his friend, Kenny Clark, and I'm willing to predict, not bet, I'm willing to predict that the two of them working together is kind of working off of your theory, Rhino. How one player is used to protect the other, kind of sort of like that force multiplier. I think Rashawn Gary's going to do that. They also added some pieces on defense, especially in the secondary. but what's interesting about the pieces in the secondary, there's nothing really flashy. Nothing. They didn't break the bank to bring in guys, except with the exception of the safety, Jalen Thompson. I don't know. I'll admit I don't know too much about any safeties other than Budda Baker from the Cardinals. They gave him a 3-year contract. Okay, let's see what he does. But what they really did here by adding their depth pieces and solidifying some holes on defense, Rhino, War Chief, they put themselves in a position now to not have to draft for need. That's the biggest thing the Cowboys did. They don't really have to draft positional need. They could draft the best player available. They do have 2 picks, so maybe they could do one or the other. And then another reason why they got their B, solid B, they're bringing back their entire offense, more or less. They're bringing back, they franchise tag Curious George. They re-sign Javonte. They're running it back with this offense. They think this offense is good enough. Their offensive line is pretty much intact. And again, to circle it all the way back, the Dallas Cowboys have gotten closer. I'm curious to see what they do in the draft. What do they need? Well, again, I don't know if they really need anything in the draft. I think they're going to draft some. I think they're going to draft really solid players, whether it's another offensive lineman. I don't know if his name is Tyler or not. There'll be 3 Tylers on the line, or if they're going to draft one of the, if they can maybe somehow go work some magic, get up there and get another cornerback to go along with Ron Bland. I don't know, but nevertheless, the Cowboys have put themselves in a very good position.
Yeah, I think,
so
and
that's
then
my
they
Cowboys
traded.
take.
They traded away defensive tackle to pick up more capital, draft capital too. It's a round pick. To do they need depth at offensive line and and defense. They still need defensive pieces, and they might need a second running back. I know Malik Davis did pretty good in his time when he was playing, but they still need probably an upgrade right there because from everything I've read, they have no. Jaden Blue is just too immature or whatever's going on right there. Every other reports I hear from about him is he's immature and this and that. So they might be grabbing a running back later, third, fourth round.
Got a little Phil Maffa. How about a little Philly Maffa? War Chief. He's like, no Phil Maffa. I completely agree, but I don't know. I mean, like you do get the sense that they have gotten better. They've gotten close. They're in a tough division. But I think that they've gotten more aggressive than as opposed to kind of waiting back. And when I say more aggressive, we could roll that back all the way to last training camp with the trade for Micah. So all these pieces are starting to come through. But by all means, it really started with the trade. Now they've got themselves a D-line, a big-time D-line. All right, though. So, yeah. By the way, goats. Hello, goat. Hello, dear. By the way, so once we get through these 4 teams, then we'll add a little wrinkle. We'll add a little fantasy perspective. So let's get through the other 2, the other 3.
Go ahead.
All right.
Who's up?
Washington, the Commanders.
Wow, you want to go with the Commanders?
Commanders, Commanders. They got a solid A for me. A solid A. I love what they did. Adolfo Hawaii, Leo Chanel, Amik Robinson, Tim Sittle, Kavion Chason, Nick Cross, Charles Amanaway as defense. They built up their defense. Their defense was lackluster, to say the least, last year. So they built up their defense, and they got Chig. Chig's going to eat this year.
Chiggy.
And then I really liked Rasheed White signing too in free agency. That's an upgrade to me. It's an upgrade from Austin Eckler. Yami Brown is not a bad pickup either as a third wide receiver. He showed up and shot a little bit last year for Jacksonville. So everything they did good, and I like the fact that they went defense heavy.
Yeah.
So now in the draft, they can still. I think they'll still solidify the offensive line or defense. I don't know if there's a chance they go Jeremiah Love. I don't know. I think they'll go Mike Washington in the second round, something like that.
What would you do? You're in charge of the Commanders. What are you doing? You've already built championships before. You've built them. You know what it's like. You know what it looks like to win a Super Bowl. What would you do with this Commanders team who was pretty damn close 2 years ago? What would you do here? Are you thinking about it? Is it Jeremiah Love? What would you do? What do they need to do in the draft? One thing.
Yeah, you go.
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
what would I do?
I was asking Rhino.
Yeah, you.
I already said what they would do. They get a running back. They get a running back. They get a wide receiver because McLaurin's getting old. They need another wide receiver. Deebo Samuel, I don't know if he's still there or not. I think they probably trade for either pick up Ayuk or trade for him, and then get another wide receiver to solidify that, and get pieces around Jaden Daniels that make him freaking succeed even more.
Sniper, I'm coming for you. Okay. So what was that grade again? I'm sorry. You gave him an A?
That's an A.
You gave him an A. All right. Yeah, no, look, didn't the Commanders they spent a ton of money. Right?
In the right way, too. In the right way. They spent it in the right way.
I mean, they had money to spend, and they spent it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like their offseason. Like I said, I think the biggest thing that they need to do was to get all of the age out of the defense. So Bobby Wagner
Right.
is no longer there. Marshawn Lattimore is longer there. Those pieces that were kind of getting burnt all last year just because of their age and kind of being past the hill. They made their defense a lot younger. Leo Chanel, I think, is going to be absolute star
Yeah.
on this defense. Like you said, Olaf Owe, he's going to be excellent on this defense. I think a real underrated signing that they had was Kalavion Chason, but also Charles Omenihu. Charles Omenihu has been like a staple in Kansas City for years, and he's always been that guy to kind of make plays as a rotational guy. Now he's in Washington. I really like their offseason. I'm close to an A, but they kind of have to complete it on the offensive side in the draft. They like you said, they still need a wide receiver. They still need skill positions to complement Jaden Daniels. But besides that, I think they've done an excellent job.
Yeah, because his running back room is you got Bill, Rasheed White, Jerome Ford, right? And Jeremy McNichols.
Jerome Ford survived. No, Jerome Ford, well, he survived for now. Okay, how about them Eagles? Fly, Eagles, fly. How about Snipers, Eagles?
Eagles.
Snipers, Saquonisons.
For what they have, I mean, I would give the Eagles like a B minus. They don't have a lot of capital really. Yeah, they don't really have a whole lot to do. I mean, I can honestly give it a C plus. Yeah, let's give it a C plus, like a C plus, just by what they have and kind of what they can do. They're still wait. I feel like they're waiting for the AJ Brown trade to happen before they make any other types of moves. I know everyone's waiting for Uncle Howie to do it again, but I mean, I think people are catching on like, okay, I can't just give this guy what he wants every single time. So the AJ Brown made them wait. So of course they lost, Jalen Phillips, who's a big part of their defense. Once Jalen Phillips got on that team, that defense kind of went back to like the top 3 defense that it was. And I think they're in search of another defense end now. Not also to go along with like losing to Kobe Dean as well and Reed Blankenship. Those are super important players to that defense that are no longer there. So they have all those spots again or fill all those spots again. And like I said, we'll see if it happens through drafts or late free agent signings. But as of right now, I give them a solid C plus.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna make a bold prediction that they do not repeat as NFC East champions.
This is a bold prediction. I don't
I don't
know.
think it's that bold.
Yeah.
That bold.
They might be fighting for last place.
Well, I don't know if that would surprise me either. So,
And Nick
Yeah,
Sirianni will be
you
a hot seat by mid-season.
does anybody else find it fascinating all the maneuvering that Uncle Howie does by getting these picks just for the compensatory formula for like next season? Like all this accumulated capital just to then most likely in turn just like send it right off to use it for other transactions. I mean, like it's almost like it's almost like there's a department just for that aspect of free agency. All right, well,
What's the offense going to look like? Do you think that's another question mark with Sean Manion coming in?
I don't know. Well, my question is
of what it might look like because he's part of. I can't say he's part of McVay tree, but he did play under McVay. He played under LaFleur and O'Connell. Don't know if he's going to like just mix all that up into one thing.
I mean, it's all an extension of LaFleur. So there's going to be a lot of play action passing. They're going to be relying on the run game some more. My question is, for a 4th consecutive season, if the offense doesn't look great to start the season, is it going to be the offensive coordinator's fault again? The only people that are the same through these last 4 years is Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. So is it going to be the offensive coordinator's fault again? We'll see.
No, it's not going to be a coordinator's fault again. Again, that's just my opinion. He's running on thin ice as it is. So no, it's not going to be another coordinator. Look, they would bring in another head coach, and Mannion may be a casualty of that, because the new head coach would be wanting to bring in his own people. But yeah, no, this is a tough year. This is gonna be a tough year for the Eagles in terms of if they don't do well out of the gate. We all know how their fan base is. They're gonna be screaming, and yeah, we are looking. Of course, all eyes are on this AJ Brown stuff. I mean, it won't be till after June 1st anyway. How about them New York Football Giants? New York Football Giants are gonna get a solid B plus.
I can get behind that.
They're gonna get a B plus, Rhino, and once they execute in about 30 days from now, less than 30 days, they'll move into the A minus or A plus. But what they did in free agency, well, they didn't have a ton of money, but what they did was they made it work. They stretched it out. They brought back a lot of their guys. All right, they brought back Illuminor. They brought back even Evan Neal. They brought back it's amazing to me. They brought in Tremaine Edwards which is an equal replacement in my mind for losing Bobby Okereke. They did well there. And then of course the splash play. Now at first it was like, damn, Isaiah Likely. I mean, he's not going to be used as a tight end. They need, they're bringing in a weapon. They're bringing in a weapon. I said echo. They're bringing in a weapon. Well, yeah. Well, if he was such a fantastic weapon all the time, then why did we see him losing snaps to Mark Andrews? Well, we'll leave that on the side for now, because a few weeks later, fast forward, and they did bring in the second wave Darnell Mooney, Calvin Austin. So there's their wide receiver too. It doesn't matter which one. Whoever wins will be their wide receiver 2 on the field. Right now, obviously, it projects as Mooney, but let's not forget they got Darius Slayton, who they made sure to bring back. Isaiah Hodgins made sure to bring back. This team is set up also in the secondary. Again, they didn't really cut. They didn't really fire anybody. Javon Holland's still on the team. Paulson Adebo is making a ton of money still on the team. This all sets up just like the Cowboys, in my opinion. This sets up where now the Giants could really just draft who they want in that 5th pick. Who would I want? Who should it be? I think it should be either, if they can't get, if the Jets take Sonny Styles, I would want the Giants too. If it's not going to be Sonny Styles, then it would be Caleb Downs. It would be my preference. Because again, either or is a guy that's versatile that could play both ways. So that's my that's the Giants solid B plus.
And they lost Urike, but they signed Tremaine Edmonds, who was one of the best cover linebackers in football last year. So I think they upgraded right there by doing that.
Well, I think the best thing that they did was they made this into Harbaugh's image as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Without going crazy. I think Patrick Ricard kind of sets the tone immediately to what they want to do, which kind of makes it hard for me to think that they would draft Jeremiah Love, just because I know that they just want to beat people up, and Cam Scatterboo and another guy, not Jeremiah Love's stature. They need 2 guys to kind of beat up other offenses. So we know immediately what direction this team wants to go, exactly how Harbaugh wants to build it.
Does Greg Roman's the OC, correct?
He's like a special advisor.
Okay, well, whatever that means. So his little Greg Roman's pixie dust in that damn team, and that worries me a little bit. Worries me a bit.
he's going to be responsible for obviously the run aspect. They want to stop at nothing to bring in all this stuff for the front office and the coaching staff, and the coaching staff with the front office, and so on and so forth. So they have a offensive coordinator, and then they have like a special advisor is Greg Roman to John Harbaugh, special advisor. So honestly, it's not that uncommon. So supposedly the Falcons and Kevin Stefanski just did that. He has a special advisor. I don't know if he's like for the field or like in an office, but there's a special advisor for him as well. All right, so the Commanders, we are giving them an A.
A minus.
A minus. The Cowboys getting a B plus. The Eagles are at a C plus. And the Giants are at a B plus. Very nice. All right, let's get into a little bit of fantasy football, baby. For each team, let's give one perspective. One thing that we're looking out for. Come for the sun. It's already the spring. It'll be the summer. It'll be football. Football's next week, isn't it? I didn't get a jersey.
Much, man.
Oh no, Sniper says I didn't get a jersey. I'll get the Sniper get a jersey. She get a jersey just for saying hi. Did you want to start? I'll start the Cowboys. I mean, I'll start with like some low hanging fruit because I've been thinking about this. Oh, what's it going to look like now with George Pickens again and CeeDee Lamb?
But hold on a second. What if he holds out?
What if he doesn't?
I'm just saying. What if he holds out? What if he doesn't like the numbers that are being given to him? Because there's a chance that happens.
Then CeeDee Lamb to the moon.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I highly doubt that doesn't get done. In whatever fashion it doesn't get done. I mean, Jerry knows, but Jerry's been doing this long enough, and we know exactly how he plays it.
They slapped that bad boy on him, and I'm fairly confident that George Pickens will be playing for the Dallas Cowboys. However, what I am thinking about it from a fantasy lens is how will it look like? Will George Pickens George Pickens is gonna continue as long as he's on the field with CeeDee Lamb. They kind of sort of cannibalize one another to an extent. How will it look exactly like it did last season with George Pickens now 1,400 yards and 10 plus? Right? No. Or now do we get the rebirth? Do we get the CeeDee Lamb? So like, or is there a third option? Is there a third where you kind of get a little bit of regression coming off of the George back to the mean, yet you get back to CeeDee Lamb's quote unquote regression, which was like 1,500 yards. So it's kind of interesting. It's a good problem to have in fantasy, I think.
Well, I think it comes down to CeeDee Lamb's health.
Right.
CeeDee Lamb going to miss, I know he officially missed 3 games, but I know he left 2 early. He essentially missed 5 games last year. Is George Pickens going to have the opportunity or that target share with CeeDee Lamb not being there out there as often as he needs to be? Honestly, I think CeeDee Lamb has a healthier year, and of course this will take a deeper dive analysis in the summertime of splits with George Pickens without CeeDee and CeeDee with George Pickens, and we can kind of look at that later. But I don't expect that George Pickens 1,400 yards, 10 plus touchdowns again. I think it is absolutely a 1,200 yard season and 1,150, maybe more touchdowns, maybe the same amount of touchdowns. I don't see the touchdown regression, but I see the reception and receiving yard regression for George.
It'll be a good season.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a good season. And then, of course, you have to factor in now where is he going to be drafted. So that's what I'm looking out for as far as the Cowboys are concerned on this date, March 24th. Plenty of time to go. Who sold, baby? Who sold? Appreciate you. Welcome back. Welcome back to the lab. Lab 2.0, by the way. Who sold? Lab 2.0. No more. No more shits and giggles. No more nonsense. No bullshit. Commanders. I think you touched up a little bit before. I think it's fascinating.
I want to see.
Fascinating.
I want to see
that room.
a healthy Jaden Daniels,
Oh.
and I want to see them protect him. I want to see how the new offense is going to look like with the new offense coordinator too. As far as he'll go, the Commanders will go as far as he goes. If he gets hurt again, then they'll just have a nosedive again. So that's what I'm looking for.
Marcus. You didn't like Marcus Mariota?
He's not bad, but it doesn't really turn the.
He's not. He's not getting that team to a to NFC Conference Championship.
Young needs to be smart when he's running.
Yeah.
Protect him. And who's he going to be throwing to?
Who is he going to be throwing to? Well, we know
a lot of Chig.
Yeah, I
and they still have McLaurin.
I don't want to. Yeah, for sure.
But they need an upgrade at wide receiver.
I think the Commanders are going to go as far as Jaden Daniels takes them. I think Jaden Daniels is he's the fantasy. I think he's the fantasy person on this team that you would want. Excuse me. I think he would be. He's the one that you really want here. But where?
But low key. I know you're not tied in, dude. But low key, I wouldn't mind having Chig too.
Chig did get paid a lot of money for. He got paid a lot of money for the production that he hasn't had.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it only would say that he will be a big part of the offense. The way that they want to run it. I know. Isn't there offensive coordinator David Blau?
Yeah.
Blau. Believe it. Don't believe it. Whatever his name is. But no, I know he's come from. I know he's from like the Lions type of offense. They prioritize tight ends and running the football. I don't know if the best offensive production player is on this team yet. Whether that be wide receiver, running back, I don't know if they're on this team yet. Aside from Jaden Daniels.
Well, Sniper wants to know where we think Carnell Tate's going to go and Mekhi Lemon. So we're going to predict some landing spots. And there are a couple of teams out of this exact division that have these guys potentially in their crosshairs. So some people have Carnell Tate going to the Giants. I don't really see that.
I see a lot of Browns.
I see that he's now being mocked to the Browns. That would be probably catastrophic. Mekhi Lemon, on the other hand, is going to go a little bit later, and it's kind of wide open in the air. I don't. Again, he's being mocked to the Jets. I don't like that. The Saints are in play. Who else is over there? Past the Saints. In between the Saints and the Giants. In between the Saints and the Jets 16.
Ravens.
Yeah, that's right. The Ravens could use another wide receiver.
It could be a team that trades up to get him.
All right, the fantasy perspective, all eyes. Not only are all eyes on the Giants running back situation. It's not really a situation now, is it? I mean, as long as Cam Scatterbrains returns to full strength, he's going to get the majority of the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they brought in that fullback for a reason. We know that they're going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to take pressure off of Jackson Dart, and especially if they're going to be winning in football games with a much better defense, they're going to want to run the ball. But how much is Tyrone Tracy's not going around? He's not going away, Tyrone.
He played too good at the end of the season. Like
Tyrone's not going away.
Right.
Tyrone doesn't make boneheaded comments either. And Tyrone is working in that building just as hard as Cam Scatterbrain. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how they deploy. I mean, they're looking at Tyrone Tracy as a weapon, still, an asset. Still, they have him on the contract for another year, and they're going to use him.
You should think him as a weapon. I mean, because Cam, I mean, it's going to take him a few games to get back to complete 100% coming off that injury like he had. So they're going to have to protect him.
Will likely be a top 10 tight end this season. Will likely.
You want to hear a crazy stat?
Oh, of course.
Give it to us.
Tyrone Tracy is just the third Giant to have over 1,000 scrimmage yards in their first 2 seasons.
The other
piece of that team?
Tiki?
Nope.
Not even Tiki?
Not even Tiki. More recent.
Josh Jacobs. Not Josh Jacobs.
No, Barkley. Saquon.
Barkley's one and Odell's the other. Besides that, that's it.
Brandon Jacobs was the guy I was thinking of.
Oh, Brandon Jacobs. No, not Brandon Jacobs either. No, yeah, but no, that was a good guess though.
Top 10, yeah. He can be top 10, sure.
Absolutely.
Likely could definitely be tight end 8, tight end 7, tight end 10, sure. We're expecting him to get an uptick in production and usage, but then again, you still have Theo Johnson on this team. So they just signed him.
Greg Roman runs like 30% 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets. So Theo Johnson and Likely will both be out there.
They're going to be out there for sure. Look, they gave him a 3-year, $40 million contract. But if you're looking at Isaiah Likely as sort of like a replacement for what they lost in Wan'Dale Robinson as in offensive production, and they got him then this is a discount. This was actually savvy spending. I would like to see him at the Ravens. That would be cool. Who?
Probably Lemon or Tate.
The Commander should get the crybaby. He might be a good fit there. The crybaby.
Which one's the crybaby? There's a lot of players that call crybabies, though.
The crybaby. It's not Crybaby Davis. He's long retired. Where are we? Who's next? Commander? Eagles. Fantasy perspective.
I'm looking at the wide receiver room as AJ Brown's departure looms.
That's the big one.
Yeah, I'm looking at Devonta Smith. It's time to be wide receiver 1 again. He's definitely shown us these past couple of years with AJ Brown that he's progressed and he can be a number 1 wide receiver. And I think he's finally gonna get his opportunity to, and hopefully they pass the ball enough and he gets enough targets to really to see a 100-yard receiving season. I hope they use him in the slot correctly now. Like there's so much that guy could do, and like I said, he just kind of handicapped with his offense, but I think he's still gonna have a big season this year.
Oh man. All you have to do is just look at the games that AJ Brown didn't play. Not necessarily last season. Last season was lousy all around. But you go back to 24 and 23, any of those very limited sample, the games that AJ Brown didn't play and Devontae did. Wow. You just have a wide receiver 1. So yeah, Sniper, we're gonna want to look out for that. If AJ Brown does move and they don't do anything substantial otherwise, when in the wide receiver availability market as of now is thin, could they add somebody in the draft? Sure, they could definitely add somebody.
They did add Hollywood Brown.
They added Hollywood Brown. That's right, Hollywood. A good veteran to add. That's a good veteran to have. All right. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and goats. With Geno in New York, can Wilson be a PPR monster with his target share and no competition at wide receiver? Of course,
I
Michael.
think even if they do draft a wide receiver, I think he'll still have target share.
He'll definitely. Well, that absolutely, he will have the target share.
Absolutely.
This is really contingent on Geno. I think he's going to be, and I'm not just saying this as a homer. I think that he'll be competent enough to keep them competitive. That's all we're asking for. He's got a much better offensive line than he did last season.
Mm-hmm.
That's critical. And then even if they did add Mekhi Lemon, which I'm not in favor of, Mekhi Lemon just isn't going to burst on the scene. And even if Mekhi Lemon does burst on the scene, we've also seen rookies hit the wall. Gary Wilson is in his 5th season now.
Yeah.
5th season.
Even with that being mocked, I've seen that mocked quite a bit. Mekhi Lemon going at 16, but I sometimes see these mock drafts and they don't make a ton of sense. They prioritized getting Adonai Mitchell. Like in that trade, they prioritized that, and that Garrett Wilson's already there. They don't generally want to be like a 40 pass attempt team, so they don't need that depth of wide receiver because they like Mason Taylor a whole lot too. These mock drafts, they just don't tend to like really look into these teams and what they really need.
You know what else? Also, War Chief. A lot of these mock drafts, and yes, I'm going to agree with most of that, if not all of it, with the exception of, let me add to the fact that they're not accounting for that 16 pick being used as capital. They may use that pick to try to get up into the drafting, to get back into that tier 1.
Yeah.
Don't just settle on Arvell Reese, or don't just settle on David Bailey. Now they have they did everything in free agency very calculated, not just to get the positions intact, the holes filled. They brought in a certain type of character, but now the Jets could draft whoever the hell they want. They're going to draft the best person. They're going to draft the best player. Bobby Goat. Look at the fucking Bobby Goat and the Michael B. Goat and the snipers. Now I'm getting fucking wild. Now, see what happens when you talk a little Jets? Right, War Chief? Everyone's mocking as if the Jets are going to use that pick 16 for someone in, I don't know, do you want wide receiver 2? Fine. Or do you want, what would be key? Why don't you go get LB1, then maybe you'll still have Edge 4, Edge 5, DT1.
There goes draft Tyler Simpson right there.
It would be a mistake. That's what are you doing with those 3 picks next season? Going to draft another quarterback?
Wide receivers?
No.
Stop.
No.
Stop. You were doing so well, and now you're just talking.
Why? You don't think they'll do that? You don't think they'll draft Tyler Simpson?
Ty Simpson?
Yeah.
No. If they want to draft a quarterback this season, 2026, why Ty Simpson when you go add depth with Drew Aller or Nussmeier? Like on day 2, why waste it?
I've seen him mocked there quite a few times.
Yeah, okay. But again,
okay.
I don't think mock drafts don't really think about the situations of the team. Why would I take Ty Simpson when I have 2 chances at Arch Manning next year, or 2 chances at Dante Moore, or 2 chances at Lenore Sellers, or 2 chances at John Mateer, or 2? It doesn't make sense to me.
It's the Jets.
Yeah, I mean listen, I said all that for you to say that, and that makes a ton of sense. It is the Jets.
I mean, like, did you see what mock draft was this? Like yesterday with Dan Orlovsky talking up Ty Simpson?
God,
Like,
no.
what
I
mock
don't know.
draft?
I don't keep track of all the damn mock drafts I see.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Look, I'm gonna say this about that, but with Dan Orlovsky, and there's a reason why. I'm gonna say the media is so powerful because on a Monday,
Yes, we know
the media
that.
is so powerful, right?
We know
that for the average person, you have Dan Orlovsky talking about Ty Simpson being better than Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
Like, stop. And then we have Chris Sims saying that Denzel Boston's the best wide receiver in the draft. Like, there's a reason. They do this for a reason on a Monday. So you have to talk about all week in the media. They do this. Like, no, Fernando Mendoza is always and will be quarterback one, and whoever your wide receiver one is, it's definitely not Denzel Boston.
Like Dan Orlovsky at least has some background to the position. But Chris Sims has no credibility for wide receivers whatsoever. That is a joke to me, especially his tears that I saw yesterday was a joke. Anyway, Bob Goat wants to check in. Hello, Bob Goat. Appreciate you. Hope you've had a nice winter. Checking on Walker. Kenny Skywalker. I mean, he could do a little over 1,000. He's gonna do between 8 and 10 touchdowns. That would be the ceiling for me. That would be the ceiling. That's been his ceiling.
Probably about 1,400 scrimmage yards.
Maybe, yeah. Wrapping it all together, sure.
I think he could have I think he actually can have like a real spike touchdown year. I think he could have like 15 touchdowns.
Yeah. I can see that.
In any event, I mean, he's going to be drafted. Another player that we're going to be drafting way high.
Would you take him above round 3? I don't think I would.
Above round 3, I'm going to have a hard time doing that.
Yeah, but there'll be people who do it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I was doing some bully RB start, where I want 2 of them right away. Maybe then. How are you feeling about Evans with San Francisco? Yeah, Father Time remains undefeated here, but he did want to go. He did want to play here. He took less money, reportedly. How do I feel?
If he stays healthy, it's gonna work out nice. If he stays healthy, it'll work out nice.
Yeah.
And I think they will use him like Adams. That way.
I need to see what they do the rest of this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
If I think they still need more receiver help. I think it only helps Mike only helps Mike Evans if they add more wide receivers. But if he has to be leaned on as a wide receiver one, it's only a matter of time before his hamstring just goes.
It's happened every last few seasons now.
Yep.
It's something. Whether he falls and comes down on his collarbone, or if it's
that killed me.
Right, or he just comes up lame in the hammy. I mean, it's something. Now you want to factor in the substation, Michael B. Goat, or the electromagnets. Now look, I mean, yeah, he's going to be a big red zone target, without doubt, without question. 7 targets a game, 6 balls, 5 balls. Good chance to score a touchdown. Right, Snipes? How about JSN? How about that? How about 42 plus a season for the next 6 seasons, I believe? Right? 6 seasons?
No,
I mean,
it was 4. Wasn't it 4?
Yeah, but they're essentially count as 6 because he has
you're adding the 2.
4th year,
okay.
his 5th year, and then the 4-year extension. Yeah,
42. You think he should be paid more than Jamar Chase?
No, but that's just the NFL we live in.
I know.
Yep.
I know. It's upset. It's disappointing.
I think
nevertheless,
he paid more than Jamar Chase, probably.
Oh, do you?
Well,
Why? What? Well, let me. Okay, let me. All right, let's dissect that a little bit. If you don't think JSN should be paid more than Jamar Chase, then why should Puka be paid more than Jamar Chase?
Look what he's done compared to what JSN has done in their first 3 years.
Puka should be paid more than Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he should be paid like $10 million more. He should be paid like if Jamar Chase is making $40 million, he should make 40.1. Like that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I wanted. That's what I kind of thought they were going to do with JSN. Just like give him like maybe a couple of ticks more.
Yeah.
As like a Super Bowl bonus.
I mean, but essentially that's what they did. They gave him 42. Thanks for winning a Super Bowl. Here's $2.5 million. Like I said, it just kind of sucks being a Rams fan, knowing that we're going to pay Puka probably $44 million for him to stay. There was some news about Puka that I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, I just saw. Let me just text me. So what was the news?
Yeah, he's and I'm just saying this is kind of convenient. That's all I'm saying. He got accused of biting a woman and saying some stuff that's not very good. But like I said, I just think it's kind of convenient that that's happening right now.
Always.
Doesn't look good though. Does not look good.
Are we adding that to the other off-season incidences or off-season transgressions or his immaturity? I don't know.
And like I said, it's just kind of convenient that what's happening today that will just happen and the in-season stuff, it kind of goes together. Like it goes together. That's kind of cool. That just seems kind of coincidental. Right after JSN signed his contract.
See, here's the thing also. Like, this is where it could get a little tricky, but I don't think it will. I think the Rams will handle it as well as possible or as solid as possible. Yeah. They're not paying Puka a lot of money right now.
No, they are not.
So it's not like the Seahawks. They were paying JSN first round money. Puka's making much less than that right now. So they won't, you know what I mean? Like they won't, I don't think they're going to break the bank and pay him more than those two numbers. I don't, but it shouldn't matter to Puka because Puka is going to be making a shit ton more anyway. Yeah. I know the agent's not going to look at it that way though.
Yeah.
Maybe the player will.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's just a coincidence that JSN has this record-breaking contract. The agent's probably like, we want 45, right? And the Rams are like, no. And then a couple of days later, we have a story that comes out that's related to the stories that happened in season. So it's going to be a lot easier for the Rams to go, well, because of what happened, I think maybe he should just get 40 or 39. I think it's just a little coincidental. I'm not being a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just saying.
It could be. Well, it might be. How do we know this is verified? Like actual real info, real news.
I mean, it's really on every news outlet right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't come from Dove?
No, it's not Dove. It's not Dove. This is real life.
Dove. Oh my God. Rumors. Dove. Michael B. Go with Evans gone.
TMZ, Yahoo Sports, NBC Sports, Sporting News are the first 4 outlets.
So now you mix in this thing with what happened around the Super Bowl, with being intoxicated in the street. He's got maturity questions now. He doesn't have production and skill questions. Playing, he's on a 24-hour Twitch stream, whatever the hell that was. I mean, I don't know what's the matter with this kid.
I don't think anything's wrong with him. I just think he's a 24-year-old.
He's living his life. He's living his life.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure many of us were Well, not me, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us were drinking heavily at 24 years old. Saying some things we probably shouldn't say, but all of us weren't, the best receiver or top three receiver in the league.
That's the difference right there. That's it. That's the only. Of course we were. Of course I was. Hello. Yeah. Absolutely. But we didn't have this job that we had to do at 24. I got in my car and brought pizza to someone's door. And 24 for him is he's playing for 70,000 in stadium. Big difference. All right, Michael B. Goat. You getting ready for the 18-game season, Michael B. Goat, 2027? Sniper, you still there? 18 games, you ready? Evans gone and a healthy Mayfield and Emeka Ibuka going to go off. Well, we hope so. Let's not forget they still got Jalen McMillan and Chris Godwin still back.
Yep.
Sniper says yep. 18 games is coming. We got a fire special episode segment that was recorded last week. It will drop when this shoe drops. Believe me, there's gonna be more info coming out on this over the weekend. Because that's when does the winter meeting start? This Sunday, right?
I believe so.
And they're already talking rule changes for the refs and whatnot, just in case they need to replace refs. Will Monty take advantage of being an RB1 in Houston? That's a good question. That's a really good question. We should also we have not covered the AFC South yet for in this context. But real quickly though, my thoughts are yes, but not really. He'll be better than what they had. He's more proven than what they had last season. But it could also go sideways. If that offensive line doesn't improve still, in my opinion, nothing happens unless that offensive line improves. Nothing.
I would keep eye on the draft. If they draft a running back day 2, early day 3, then I would keep eye on that because then it could be numbers, because it's not like they paying them a lot of money. So I keep on the draft.
It's an interesting parallel because isn't Monty now, who's coming off of David Monty, like resurrected his career going to Detroit, but isn't Monty now on the Texans at the same age that Joe Mixon came over to the Texans from Cincinnati? It's basically the same age, right?
Yeah, they love their running backs who have 1 year left.
And so if that holds up, right, War Chief, then Monty should have a pretty good season. And that offensive line was not good 2 seasons ago.
They should, but if they do draft a running back that isn't the same skill set as Woody Marks, Woody Marks is going to step into the specialty and 2 down back or 2 minute back. But let's say they draft Singleton. If they draft a running back, then that running back could start eating into Montgomery's touches.
I wouldn't worry about it. Not in this situation.
Something to think about, though. Just saying.
I would.
You need to worry about it, but it's something to think about. You can't just automatically think that everything's going to be good.
Think about this for a second. You say day 2 running back, right?
Day 2, yeah.
The majority of the class is going to be on
early day 3. Yeah, but there's also freaking some good high-end RB2s that could do what he does too.
That could do what Monty does.
This running back class is going to sneak up on some people.
That'd be nice. I'm in on Caleb Johnson. Day 2. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, I'll say. I mean, you're still. Yeah, I know you're still on Caleb Johnson.
Whoops.
I know what you meant.
And Woody Marks. Look, we gave Woody Marks a whole hell of a runway last season. He got a ton of opportunity. Now I'm not saying that the next man that comes in.
Line too.
I'm not gonna. So and let's hope that this improves for all their sake, not just the running back, all of them. The refs need to check their eyes. The refs are losing to. Well, the refs are. They don't need to check their eyes, do they? They're losing already. Their eyes are getting better by instant replay. It's too late for them. The refs. The issue with the refs right now, correct me if I'm wrong, is that they're looking for a new contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their union is looking for a new contract.
You think they've done better going into the contract year last year?
What we don't want is replacement refs. That's what we don't want. I disagree, Jonathan. That's what we don't want. I disagree. The refs need to go back to ref school. She's calling it ref school. It's interesting. Do you think that there's a ref school? How does one become a referee?
Yeah, they just got done building Ed Hockey League University.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the Ed and Sean Hockley.
Yeah, it's
referee school.
Yeah, you just sign for tuition in the Mall of America next to the Panda Express. Yeah.
No sense. The Panda Express. They got a bunch of Panda Expresses by you, don't they? They have this. I know that they have them out west. I seen a Panda Express. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, the Dodgers just signed the Panda Express deal for another year at the stadium. $7 Panda plates.
They could get rid of the taunting. Well, that's the owners. That would be an owners meeting. That's owners. Bucky had a bad season. Bucky had a bad season. Bucky's not mentally right. Didn't we said that?
Mm-hmm.
Michael B. Goat. Michael B. Goat. I hope you heard it here first, because we were speaking quietly, if that makes sense. We didn't want to broadcast that out because it wasn't like something that we really wanted. Like nobody really wanted to touch it, but it was just sort of like out there. Quietly, that he may not be fully right upstairs.
Supposedly he made a comment about being positive about retiring because he's worried about CTEs and head trauma too. So something's in his head.
Yes, generally, NFL should get rid of the taunting. It's football. Look, I mean, I don't really have a problem with the taunting. It depends. I think that's like subjective, isn't it? It's like if you're doing it like in fun, then I'd say that's okay. But like if you're really like a serious taunting, like you're postering somebody, like you're standing over them and like potentially stepping on them, like we've seen in years past, that's a little bit. I'm with you. I'm in the old school as well. I mean, taunting as long as it's like okay, healthy. Goats, Sniper, are you ready for the 18 games or what? Well, you said yes. Michael B. Goats ready. Bucky had a bad season after he got hurt. I hope he's physically and mentally ready for a bounce back year. Even if not, they've got Sean Tucker, baby.
And Gainwell.
Sean Tucker, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and goats. Sean T, ladies and gentlemen. And Kenny G. So, that Bucky Irving season, I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to say it. I don't wish them to bust. I don't wish a player to bust. But the reality is, it's a tough league. That's the reality. It's a tough league. The other reality, it's survival of the fittest. Only the strong survive. All right, guys. Friday, guys. You should definitely be here for a fire show with the one and only Chev, Rhino, and War Chief. We'll talk to Chev about the upcoming 2026 rookie draft. Talk a little dynasty, but mostly rookie prospects, all that jazz. So I hope you guys can make it. We'll be out.
Yep. Happy birthday to you.
It's not my birthday.
You're celebrating your birthday though.
Not today.
No. Friday, so you're going to be here.
Thank you.
Happy birthday now.
Thank
all
you.
All the girls know.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, God.
Be a difference, make a difference. Stay blessed, everybody.
That's where we'll end. That's right.
Cake. Get fat.
See? Yes. 18 games. It's coming. 2027. Be on the lookout.